Hi, and welcome to my new multi-part series, which is QAnon from day one. I'm your host, Craig, and this is Just Informed Talk. First, I want to thank everybody who's stopped by to watch this video. If you're not a subscriber yet, go ahead and click the red subscribe button right here. Hit the bell for notifications so you can get these videos as they become available. Because as I've said before, as the information becomes available to me, I will make it available to you. But thank you to each and every one of my subscribers, and especially thank you to everyone who comments. Now, let's just start right here. This is a new series that I'm working on. It's going to be a multi-part series. This is part one, and what we're going to do is we're going to start at the beginning of QAnon. Now, a lot of you have probably gone back and read and done all your research, and that I'm very thankful for. Obviously, most people in the comment boards are very smart, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to think about this in the comments. But what we're going to do in shorthand explanation here is we're going to start from the beginning. We're going to go over each Q post until we get to where we first started this channel. It's kind of like a backtrack, but it's also a catch up and a like a cheat sheet, kind of the Cliff Note version of Q from the beginning. So if you guys are interested, please stay tuned, and we're going to go through it starting right here. This seems to be the first Q post that was found. Now you can see his trip code matches his ID and his Anon ID, and he's actually responding to a Anon here who says Hillary Clinton will be arrested between 7:45 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. Eastern on Monday, the morning on October 30th. So, Q, which at this point, this is like the infancy of Q. This is the beginning. This is the genesis. This is where it all starts, and he doesn't sign his name as Q. I don't think the idea or the thought behind the Q Anon thing had been fleshed out yet. So this is just its raw beginnings, and we get so much information here that it's really incredible. And I wanted to share this. This has been an idea of mine for quite a long time, so I'm very happy to be able to bring it to you right here, right now. So let's just get right into it. It says HRC, we all know who she is, Hillary Clinton, extradition already in motion effective yesterday with several countries in case of cross-border run. Passport approved to be flagged effective 10:30 at 12:01 a.m. Expect massive riots organized in defiance and others fleeing the U.S. to occur. U.S. U.S. Marines will conduct the operation while National Guard is activated. Proof check. Locate a National Guard member and ask if activated for duty 10:30 across major cities. Now this hits home for me. I have a few really good friends who are former Marines, and one of my good friends was a Marine. His really good friend is in the National Guard. And I remember right around that time him being activated for service. It wasn't stated for what, but I can tell you right now, these are the good actors. They're on our side, and I 100% believe this. You can look it up. They were activating National Guard all across the country at this point. So it was really profound to hear this on October 28th, but let's keep going. There's so much more. All right. Mockingbird. This is the next Q post with the same trip code ID. And by the way, this is going to be multi-parts. We're only going to get through so much at a time, and I'll post them as we get through them, but it's fascinating, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to bring it to you guys. So it says Mockingbird. We all know Project Mockingbird, the CIA getting into the media. HRC detained, not arrested yet. Where is Uma? Follow Uma. This has nothing to do with Russia yet. Why does POTUS surround himself with generals? What is military intelligence? Why go around the three-letter agencies? What Supreme Court case allows for the use of military intelligence versus congressional assembled and approved agencies? Who has ultimate authority over our branches of military without approval conditions unless 90 plus in wartime conditions, right? I can answer all these questions as we go, or I can just read them. I'd rather read them and then go back and go through it all with what I can bring. But I may change it up as we go, so bear with me as we go through this. It says, who has ultimate authority over our branches of military without approval conditions unless 90 plus in wartime conditions? What is the military code? Where is Anthony Weiner being held? Why? POTUS will not go on TV to address a nation. POTUS must isolate himself to prevent negative optics. POTUS knew removing criminal rogue elements as a first step was essential to free and pass legislation. Who has access to everything classified? Do you believe HRC, Soros, Obama, etc. have more power than Trump? Fantasy. Whoever controls the office of the presidency controls the great land. They never believed for a moment they, Democrats and Republicans, would lose control. And then it goes on to say, this is not a Republican versus Democratic battle. Why did Soros donate all his money recently? Why would he place all his funds in a RC? You guys will have to help me out with that in the comments. Mockingbird 103017. God bless, fellow patriots. So that is telling. Let's just keep moving through. We can kind of read all these. See, the difference between Q now and Q back here is that he was much more direct with his information. And it's kind of fascinating to go back and look at it all. So let's just keep going. Open your eyes. It finally came out that Rod, which is Rod Rosenstein, and Robert Mueller, were key players in the Uranium One scandal. Don't you think POTUS would be tweeting about removal given clear conflict? Why did POTUS meet Bob Mueller under the cover of FBI director interview, right? Bob is unable to serve as director as per the law. Gowdy comments on Comey. History will repeat itself. POTUS has everything. Not everyone is corrupt. Fewer than you think. Follow UMA. Operation Mockingbird. Priority to clean out the bad actors to unite people behind the America First agenda. Many in our government worship Satan, which is insane. Not about Republicans versus Democrats at this stage. Where is HRC? Why is National Guard called up across 12 cities? Trust in your president. God bless patriots. So if you want to go through this, I mean, you can go through it line by line, kind of figure it out for yourself. If you guys have trouble with me scrolling and moving around as we go through this, I certainly recommend you use something called the pause button. It was invented a long time ago, around the first time digital mediums or analog mediums were being used. So you just go ahead and hit pause, and if you want to read something, then you can take your time and read it. Go ahead and hit play, and you can come back to us. All right, so moving forward. So let's go through this. This is another Q drop where he's posting under a different ID now, as it didn't really pick up on before. But he is continuing to post, and this is the stuff that was put up here. So to some of us come here to drop crumbs, just crumbs. POTUS is 100% insulated. Any discussion suggesting he's even a target is false. POTUS will not be addressing nation on any of these issues as people begin to be indicted and must remain neutral for pure optical reasons. To suggest this is the plan is false and should be common sense. Focus on military intelligence, state secrets, and why might that be used versus any three-letter agency? What Supreme Court decision opened the door for a sitting president to activate? What must be showed? Why is POTUS surrounded by generals? Again, there are a lot more good people than bad, so have faith. This was a hostile takeover from an evil, corrupt network of players, not just Democrats. Don't fool yourself into thinking Obama, Soros, Rothschilds, Clintons, etc. have more power present day than the President of the United States. Operation Mockingbird. Patriots are in control. Sit back and enjoy the show. So obviously what he's saying there is pretty self-evident. I don't need to go through and explain a lot of this to you because this is not as cryptic as Q has become. A lot of these posts are very straightforward and easy to follow. So I'm going to leave that for you guys to kind of digest. And it's good to hear it now, though, because we're almost, 4 months out after the fact of this. So if you think about it in that context, then you can look at this and kind of look back and say, oh, well, that makes sense now. So let's just keep going forward. It says, follow the money. It's the key. What is Pelosi's net worth by way of one example? Why coincidentally is her memory apparently going? Cover for possible future indictment to plead what? Insanity, dementia, whatever. What if John McCain never had surgery and that was a cover for a future out if needed against prosecution? So you could say, oh, I'm an old sick man. What are you doing to me? I'm kind of annotating as we go here. You guys can see that that's not written, but I'm just giving you kind of my 2 cents as we go here. It says, why did Soros transfer his bulk public funds into a nonprofit? Note, this doesn't include massive slush funds that are pulled by several high-ups. So are maybe these the slush funds that were being referred to in later Q posts with the Hussein drop and Pelosi and all these McCain and all these people who apparently have slush funds all over the world? It says, why did Soros' son have several meetings with Canadian Prime Minister, and how is that related to Clinton's? Well, for anybody who even remotely knows the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, and what that fruitcake's all about, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way toward people of a different sexual orientation. I just mean that in the sense that he's lost his mind. He's just out there in another world. But how would that be related? I wonder. Okay. Now it goes on to say, can you rely on being able to board a plane and fly away? So that's talking about the elites being able to get on a plane and fly out of here. Why is MS-13 a priority? Nobody got this. Well, MS-13 was their hit squad. They brought these El Salvadorian gangsters in who just apparently just don't have any care for human life, and they're very vicious, and they're hardcore, and I've heard reportedly they do not worship God. Let's just say it that way. They worship another who is the evil one, if you will. So, but that was their hit squad. So that's a priority, possibly. Then it says, could people pay such gangs to kill opponents, and why, how, to insulate against exposure? Well, I mean, obviously, it's easy to pay them, and then it's easy to get them to take care of their own. So if you send person A to go commit a crime, and you pay person A to do the crime, and then you pay person B to go take care of person A, and you can distance yourself enough away to where you can insulate yourself against exposure. Plus, you're using people who are not reliable to begin with, who don't have, for the most part, not generalizing to be said, but they're usually lower IQ, and they're usually less inquisitive. They're more drones, fighters. They're the foot soldiers, not to give soldiers a bad name compared to these scumbags, but they're really the lowest level of the echelon. They just do what they're told, and then they can be taken care of easily. Now, the truth is mind-blowing and cannot fully be exposed. Also, many are thinking from one point of view, U.S. only, this evil is embedded globally. U.S. is the first domino. Have faith. So you guys can take away from that what you will. It's great to read these things with the ability to have hindsight and look back and say, well, a lot of these things are making more and more sense. So that's why I'm bringing this to you now, because I think it's important to look back and to remember that these are like the proofs of Q that he wants us to look at. He wants us to see, hey, I made these calls, and you need to have faith. So not just in him, but more importantly in God. But we'll get into that a little later. So the next one, coming from another ID. I think he just kept switching them here so he could keep posting. But it says, some of us come here to drop crumbs, just crumbs. POTUS is 100% insulated. Any discussion suggesting he's even a target is false. Follow UMA tomorrow. Huh. POTUS will not be addressing Nation on any of these issues, as people begin to be indicted and must remain neutral for pure optical reasons. To suggest this is the plan is false and should be common. So it looks like he goes through all this again. Yeah, so he just basically goes through what we just read here. So focus on military intelligence, state secrets, and why might they be used against the agency? What Supreme Court decision opened the door for a sitting president to activate what must be showed? Why is POTUS surrounded by generals? Again, there are a lot more good people than bad, so have faith. This was a hostile takeover from an evil, corrupt network of players, not just Democrats. Don't fool yourself into thinking Obama, Soros, Ross, Clintons, etc. have more power than the president. Follow the money, it's the key. So then it goes into what we just read again. So, you guys do with that as you may. We're going to keep going because there's a lot to cover here. And I want to get it all up there for you guys. Because this is the work that is a pleasure for me as a patriot and a Christian to spread the word, not just of Q, but also of God, and we will get to that in a minute. But why wasn't HRC prosecuted for the emails? Put simply, Obama ultimately okayed by using the non-governmental email additionally to communicate with Clinton. Obama also had an alias along with each of his cabinet members. Therefore, indicting HRC would lead to indicting Obama and his cabinet, etc., which could never happen. Remember, he lied about knowing, but that ultimately came out in the dump. Proof. So, or poof. I don't know if he meant to say proof or proof. But, okay, so what this is referring to is when the emails and all this came out, I mean, it was proven that she was emailing on her private server to Obama, okay? And it's maddening for somebody who is just a normal, logical, level-headed, patriotic, Christian, American, God-loving man to sit here and read this and realize that the problem is not that, the problem is less that whether or not we know that they committed these crimes. The problem is the effect of indicting a former president or a former Secretary of State / First Lady or anybody in these high up offices where they just are they're like the banks. The banks were too big to fail. These people are too idolized to fail, I guess. That's the best way I could put it, because they have been put up on these pedestals where they're untouchable. And I think it's fascinating that you're hearing it right here, where they're succinctly and clearly laying out the reasons for indictment. And if they exist, why aren't the indictments being issued? And why haven't they yet? It's simple. It's simply put, the people, half the country, who are brainwashed, watch CNN, and live in La La Land, their heads would explode with this kind of information. I mean, I talk to people on social media, and they just don't even, you make one implication about the possibility of a major news network or a major corporation giving people talking points after a tragedy such as the one that happened down in Florida, and all of a sudden people start accusing you of things you never said. Things like, oh, you said it never happened. Well, it happened. Nobody has denied that. merely pointing out the fact that the globalist corporate combines have come out and put this story first and forefront to distract you away from things like the nothing burger that was the Russian hoax against President Trump, all of the accusations and insinuations made by the media against our president, trying to get him impeached. I mean, if you even for a second, as a logical, you can even be liberal, conservative, whatever, just a logical person, put two and two together, and you come out with four, if they want it to be five, you better back off, because they're going to make it five. So I know I'm getting onto a tangent. We'll keep going, but I just had to get that out because it's frustrating. Now, Uma, husband in jail, HRC, Muslim Brotherhood, or child. What would you do? Kiss your child goodbye and leave without a mother or father for Clinton? Where is Uma today? Was she with HRC on her book tour? Now, these questions can be answered pretty simply. Here's an interesting one, because we were talking about Nancy Pelosi before, and they were talking about her net worth. And I just thought it was poignant to say that she was actually had allegations of insider trading from 60 Minutes, which would explain her $29 million reported net worth off of a salary of what, $140,000, whatever these people get in Congress. Even if you served for, oh gosh, you'd have to serve for what, 80 years? I don't even know. Maybe my math's way off. 50 years to get that kind of money. But this would explain where the money came from. And she said that she was using information that they gleaned from closed sessions of Congress. Oh, man. Surprise, 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 right? But here's another one. Now, this is talking about, let's see, it's Huma heads home after stressful 24 hours following ex-husband Wiener's sentencing for underage sexting as her boss. Now, this is dated September 27, 2017. And this is kind of referencing that she kind of stepped away from the book tour and she didn't really go along. So it's like, why did she do that? Because what Q is saying here is that, Uma had three choices. And she had three things pulling her in three different directions. First, I'm not sure if she was working on behalf of HRC for the Muslim Brotherhood or on behalf of the Muslim Brotherhood for HRC, but she was torn because she had three choices: go to HRC, go to Hillary's side and forget about her kid and the Muslim Brotherhood; go to the Muslim Brotherhood and forget about Clinton and her kid; or go to her kid and forget about the Muslim Brotherhood and HRC. And I'm thinking that she chose her kid. I think that's what any normal, logical, rational parent who loves their child would do, unless she is so fanatical that she just can't get over that. But it's really fascinating to look at this for what it is. Now, we'll keep reading. It says, what would you do? Kiss your child goodbye and leave without a mother or father for Clinton? Yeah, so that they would leave him with the Clintons. I'm sure that would be a very toxic mess there, toxic environment for a child. It says, where is Huma today? Was she with HRC on her book tour? Regarding military intelligence / state secrets, no FBI. President of the United States installed his people within each top spot at each three-letter agency except one. Good reason. There as Admiral Rogers kickstarted this and scrubbed all presidential nominees to verify oath. And this is just for the fact that Admiral Rogers is really a good guy. He's a good actor. He's the one who went to Trump and Trump Tower and laid this all out to him in the beginning and said, look, we need to stop these evil, Luciferian, crazy people who are in power. But then it says, do you think they aren't in control of those respective agencies? What is most valuable? Information. Attorney General Sessions on leakers. Fire or prosecute. Reorganization is underway and happening. Coincidence, Senate Republicans pushing for federal judge confirmations last week. Why are Senate Republicans dropping out? Not by choice. And were offered a choice. Rest assured, they will vote, and then it says pro-Trump there. Um, so yeah, that's another one. We're getting into this whole uh, new area. So we have basically what what POTUS, or excuse me, a little Freudian slip there. What Q is laying out there is that the people who were trying to be installed at the top of each of the agencies, Trump's chosen and tried to put good actors in. But he's finding resistance in every part, and this is from the 29th of October. So I'm talking about in that time period what was going on. So if you look back, you guys can do the research and look back too. I mean, this is perfect for anybody who wants to go back and research old stuff and put together the proofs of Q and try to help out in the boards. If you guys want this as a reference, it's a great referencing tool because we're going to go through each and every one of them. It may take a long time and it may take many parts, but we'll get through it. I'll try to cut back on the talking, but ultimately this is really important information, and I'd like to have my opinion known on these things as well, because I think that collectively with you in the comments, you guys know what I think, and then I'll know what you think. I'll read through each comment, and we'll continue to develop this dialogue. So we'll go right to the next one. It says projection. Democrats can't lose control over the black population. At some point, the Great Awakening will occur whereby these false local national black leaders are corrupt and paid off to help keep the black population poor and in need. Democrats formed the Confederate States against freeing slaves. Democrats formed the KKK. HRC's mentor is who? Right there. Hey, this guy. Robert Byrd is HRC's mentor, who just happens to be one of those weird KKK guys who wears a hat and thinks that white people are better than everyone. I think some people are better than others, but that's merit-based. That's not based on the color of your skin or wearing a fancy, weird-looking, fruity, and I mean that in the context of strange, not sexual orientation, fruity outfits. So there's that. What happens if the truth about Haiti is released? Do Democrats lose majority of the vote? Through the looking glass, they rely on the MSM to keep the narrative going, but tech is entrenching on their controls. They missed this in 2016 and desperately attempting to censor now due to the CIA cash infusions. This will fail. Now, this is a very important point. I want everybody to take this and really look at it. Look where we are now. YouTube, Google, all the social, Twitter, all the biggest platforms out there, they're enacting new controls. They're making new rules. They're making new policies. They're removing people who have a voice. They're removing people who have an intelligent voice, who have a dissenting opinion to what the broadly accepted truth may be. And that's dangerous. We need to keep an eye on this, but it's even pointing here to the CIA cash infusions. Okay, so we know where the money's coming from. We know what this is all about. We know there's a war out against the freedom of the free flow of information. They want to get their stranglehold back. They want to control the narrative again, and it's not just about the money. It's about the power and control. So don't forget that. That's why we all need to share these links, share this video, do whatever you have to do to get the message out. Tell your friends, tell your family, pass it along wherever you can. And that's the only way we can defeat this, because if we stop attempting to break through, that's when they'll win. Now, we'll go to the next one. Remember, the FBI and military intelligence have an open investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Why did Comey drop this? Who was the FBI director during the Haiti crisis? Well, look, that would be Robert Mueller. The Haiti crisis referring to the Port-au-Prince earthquake in 2010. It's awful. I'm sad that I have to report this on a daily basis, and I'm shocked that it's been left to people like us, we the people, but I am happy because it is my pleasure and honor to bring this information to you, so we'll just keep going. How many kids disappeared? How much money sent to the Clinton Foundation under disguise of humanitarian relief went to Hillary? What countries donated big money to Clinton Foundation and why? How much was owed by accepting? When she lost, how would this be repaid? What did Obama do with cash just prior to leaving office? That's obvious. So what they're saying is that all of these countries donated to the Clinton Foundation for the Haitian relief efforts, and then it was all favors being drawn by, Saudis and whoever, and Iranians and you name it. But then Obama paid everyone back, with the U.S. government's money. He put cash onto airplanes and flew them to Iran. Not American dollars, mostly other currencies. Pallets, $1.7 billion. I don't know. Repayment to those who donated for favors and access? Dig. Again, good people were forced into bed with this evil under personal and family threats. So not everyone's a bad actor. Some of these people were threatened and coerced. And we need to be aware and cognizant of that and leave that as a possibility for a redemption for some of these individuals who participated in this. But I think for the most part, the big actors were not coerced. The top level people were not coerced. Could you live with yourself helping to cover up such evil, despicable acts if given a safe way out? These people worship Satan. Some openly show that they worship Satan. I don't know what to say other than that is truly sad and disturbing. And they are the Luciferian, globalist, pedophile, weirdo elites who are literally involved in awful things, and we need to stand up against them. It says key. Military intelligence versus FBI, CIA, NSA. No approval or congressional oversight. State secrets upheld under Supreme Court. Who is the commander-in-chief of the military? Under what article can President impose military intelligence to take over the investigations for the three-letter agencies? What conditions must present itself? Why is this very important? Who surrounds POTUS? They lost this very important power. The one area of the government not corrupt and directly serves POTUS. Answers. Or that's not in there. That's what it says. It's not answers. But, well, I'll tell you what happened. And it was a little thing called an executive order on October 20th, which you can see this is posted on October 29th. But this is a presidential executive order amending Executive Order 13223. And it says, by the authority invested in the president, vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America. And then it goes on to say in this amendment, okay, so we have right here, it says, Section 1, Amendment to Executive Order 13223. Section 1 of Executive Order 13223 is amended by adding at the end, the authorities available for use during a national emergency under Sections 688 and 690 of Title 10 United States Code are also invoked and made available, according to their terms, to the Secretary concerned, subject in the case of the Secretaries of Army, Navy, and Air Force to the direction of the Secretary of Defense. So what I think this is saying is that if the president is informed of something that's going to happen that would require a declaration of a national emergency, that it can be recommended to him to do this by the Secretary of Defense, who is informed by the Joint Chief Staff, the Army, Navy, and Air Force, who will advise the Secretary of Defense to issue it. And then the second act is that general provisions, nothing in this order shall be construed or to impair or otherwise affect the authority granted by law to an executive department or agency or the head thereof, or the function of the director of the Office of Management and Budget, relating to budgetary, administrative, and legislative proposals. And it just goes on to basically say that that's the law. Now, what does that have to do with this? Well, it's saying what conditions must present itself. Why is this important? Who surrounds POTUS? It's the generals. Why did he bring the generals in? Because he declared a state of emergency, or he was preparing to. And now he has, with the executive order fighting human trafficking. So you have to understand that this is all a complex game that's been coming together for a while. And it seems that Q's been telling us about it since day one. And if we had just been listening, we would know. Now, and don't forget, these are the proofs of Q. These are the things here that are going to let us know what the truth is. But then it says, military intelligence referenced above is the absolute biggest inside drop this board will ever receive. Now think about why Antifa plays right into the plan. Always ahead. Good guys are winning. Now Antifa, around this time, was getting really big. They were marching all across the country. They were calling for violence, and we put a stop to that. Now, think about the timing of POTUS traveling to China, South Korea. I've said too much, God bless patriots. So that's just one of Q's ominous drops, probably one of the more ominous drops. But not as ominous as what we've been seeing lately, or unobvious, I guess you would say. Now, this is the first time I see this kill box here with the brackets around the F, but I think it's saying science fact. Military intelligence of Washington crossing the Delaware here. Military intelligence, what is state secrets and how upheld in the Supreme Court? What must be completed to engage military intelligence over the three-letter agencies? He's kind of repeating himself a little bit here, but he says, what must occur to allow for civilian trials? Why is this relevant? What was Flynn's background? Why is this relevant? Why did Admiral Rogers from the NSA meet Trump privately without authorization? Does POTUS know where the bodies are buried? Does POTUS have the goods on most bad actors? I think yes and yes. Was Trump asked to run for president? Probably by intelligence agencies like Admiral Rogers and others, like people who were good actors. Why? Because they knew these people were Satanists and crazy. By who? I'm not sure on that. Long list of people I could speculate on, but I'll leave that to you guys in the comments. Was HRC next in line? Yeah, probably. Was the election supposed to be rigged? Of course. Did good people prevent the rigging? Yes. Why did POTUS form a panel to investigate? Because there was fraud. Has POTUS ever made a statement that did not become proven as true or fact? Maybe. That one's a little preemptive here, even for now. What is POTUS in control of? Well, the Marines, the military. Yeah. What is the one organization left that isn't corrupted? Military. Why does the military play such a vital role? Because they're the only ones who can. I'm going to stop answering all these, but why is POTUS surrounded by highly respected generals? Who guards former presidents? Secret Service. Why is this relevant? Who guards HRC? Why is Antifa allowed to operate? Why hasn't the Muslim Brotherhood been classified as a terrorist organization? What happens if Soros-funded operations get violent and engage in domestic terrorism? What happens if mayors, police, comms chiefs do not enforce the law? What authority does POTUS have specifically over the Marines? Why is this important? What is Mueller's background? Military. Mueller used to be a Marine. I found that out today. That was interesting. And he's actually in the Army Rangers Hall of Fame. Kind of weird for a Marine to be in the Army Rangers Hall of Fame. Maybe he was a Ranger. I don't know. It says, was Trump asked to run for president with assurances made to prevent tampering? Hopefully. How is POTUS always 5 steps ahead? Who is helping POTUS? Well, I think that's obvious. It's Admiral Rogers, the NSA, all the supercomputers, the metadatabases, the predictive AI, all that stuff has been put into good hands now, and it's actually working to fight the corruption. So we'll get to these last two, and then I'm going to call it for this episode. But there are more good people than bad. The wizards and warlocks, this is an inside term, will not allow another satanic, evil POS country, POS to control our country. Realize Soros, Clinton's, Obama, Putin. See, even Putin. They're calling out Putin here, and they want to say Trump's with him. It's crazy. are all controlled by three families. The fourth was removed post-Trump's victory. I'm not sure what the fourth was that was removed post-Trump's victory, besides maybe the Clintons. But it's got to be a bigger family. So you guys let me know about that in the comments. But 11-3, Podesta indicted, and that's definitely here, November 3rd, 2017. It says Mueller probe draws in Tony Podesta, Vin Weber. So, and this is where, you know, it's when they're being mentioned. I mean, he's literally giving you it. If you read it here, this is October 31st. He's saying this is going to happen on 11-3. So you can go back and look at it and go, oh, well, that makes sense. And it says 11-6, Uma indicted. Well, Uma didn't get indicted, but November 6, 2017 was the day that Anthony Weiner heads to prison for sexting with a minor. So maybe she turned state. Maybe she pled out and got into witness protection. I'm not sure about that. But now this is interesting, especially given all the stuff you're hearing today in the news about Paul Manafort and how he is being indicted and being tried right now for multiple counts of, money laundering and corruption and whatever. But it says Manafort was placed into Trump's camp, and this is from October 31st, mind you. Okay, so this is a while ago, a few months ago. But it says Manafort was placed into Trump's camp as well as others. The corruption that will come out is so serious that deals must be cut for people to walk away. Otherwise, 70% of elected politicians would be in jail. You are seeing it already begin. A deep cleaning is occurring, and the prevention and defense of pure evil is occurring on a daily basis. They never thought they were going to lose control of the presidency, not just Dems, and thought they had control since making past mistakes, JFK and Reagan. Godspeed, Patriots. P.S. Soros is targeted. Well, that's amazing. And it's pretty self-explanatory. There's no codes here. This is speaking in plain language that we all understand. You don't need an explanation. You guys can read this all for yourself. It's all right here. So now it says, get the popcorn. Friday and Saturday will deliver on the MAGA promise. POTUS knows he must clean house government in order to free up and demonstrate who has authority in order to pass important legislation. This was always the priority. Remember, Attorney General Sessions cannot look like an impartial player that is out to get all former Obama team members, as we need him for other important work, which I think the other important work they were referring to at this time was the MS-13 roundups and all that. It says, all will come into focus, and for anyone to think POTUS is not in control is kidding themselves. Also, he's 100% insulated with zero risk of impeachment. Fact. This is October 31st, and they're telling you, and I know this has been being said a lot, but they're telling you that you have no proof of any indictable offenses that the president could be impeached for. So, and these people just blew this up, and now they're just doing everything they can to switch away from the Russia, to just put it in the rear view and say, oh, well, we'll just try something else. So that's going to be it for today. Make sure you get the popcorn for Friday and Saturday, or for the next episode, I should say. You guys are going to be in for a treat. We're going to pick up right where we left off, and that will be the part 2 episode. So this is part 1. I want to say thank you all for watching. If you want to think of a cool way to support the channel, well, one of the coolest ways I can think of is if you come here to my landing page, click the red subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so you get informed as soon as my videos are posted. As I've said before, as soon as Q posts become available, I'll make them available to you. This is a new series. It's the Q Anon from day 1, and this is part 1. So I want to encourage everybody to watch these episodes, spread them, share them. This is going to be what really breaks the back of the globalists, for us to just continually hit them with the truth and hit them with the truth and do it and do it and do it. Please comment. That's going to be huge. I know a lot of this has already been figured out, but I just want to hear what you guys have to think. I want to hear your takes on this. So a lot of people are going to be new to this, and we're going to keep getting more and more new people every day. And that's the idea. We want to keep bringing in people who are uninformed and make them informed, because that's how we're going to win this battle. And if you're thinking of another way you want to support me, you can come over here to Just Informed Talk on Patreon. And it's patreon.com. And I want to say thank you to all my patrons here, but you can click this red button to become a patron. Check out my goal. Check out my rewards. There's some cool stuff here. If you want to make a donation, that's great. Just $1 gets you in on this first goal, where if we reach 100 patrons, I'll create a video where I mention each of the first 100 patrons by name and thank you all individually. So that just costs you $1. So if I can get as many of you over here to help me out, that'd be great. I really need all the help I can get so I can keep this channel alive and going. But that's going to be it for today. One more thing before we go. If you are in doubt about whether God loves you, I can tell you for a fact He does. And if you're missing that element, if you wake up wanting and needing and or wanting more depth of life and more just fulfillment, you need to look to the Lord. And everybody will find that in their own way. All my job is to tell you that He's there. He's waiting for you. And if you open your heart to the Lord and let Him in, and let Jesus Christ come into your heart and be one with you, you will be successful and you will be blessed. And God will take care of you, no matter who you are, no matter how you are. If you're really open to it, God is there for you. So just, if you don't take anything away from this and you're just watching this for the novelty to see if Q is real or whatever, I'm just going to tell you right now that God loves you, and you need to open your heart to Him, and you will be blessed. You will be truly, truly blessed. So that's going to be it, though, for tonight. I want to say thank you all for watching. This has been Just Informed Talk. I'm Craig. God bless and Godspeed, Patriots. Oh, and look forward to part 2.